Hi, my name is Keith and I'm known as the Florida Stone Man, and today I'm going to be talking to you all about a very interesting and a topic that people will get very upset at. Let's get straight to it. So basically, why you should not be amateur tarot reading or amateur anything reading for anyone else. So this is flat out this is a trigger topic. Yeah, this is going to make a lot of people upset. A lot of people who are on my Instagram will be like, yeah, how dare you make this video? People are just going to be flat out triggered, but this video is truly here to help you. And coming from someone who used to read people way back then, and I actually noticed what happened and my angels pulled me away from it because there's a certain something that goes with it. So in this day and age, we're taught like, oh, you go through TikTok readers on TikTok Live, you'll scroll through all these readers, you'll scroll through a bunch of people, and you'll be like, oh, cool, they told me something about myself. Oh, they knew I was gonna drink water today. Oh, they knew. Some of these tarot readers will know how to say the most general things, and they're not truly reading you. Luckily enough, because if they're actually truly reading you and your guides don't consent to you being read, you're gonna feel very tired. You're gonna feel drained. You're not gonna have any energy. You're gonna start feeling spiritually sick. You'll get out of bed the next day, and you'll just feel completely drained, and you don't even know why. It's because you went through a tarot readers live, and you got the energy sucked out of you and the prongs ripped into your aura because your guides didn't permit you to be read. So a lot of times, even with someone who's an authentic tarot reader, your guides don't always want you to be read, because sometimes you already know the answer and you're going person to person to person to person to person to get read. So this video actually goes for both sides of the party. So why you shouldn't be going to random tarot readers like these amateur tarot readers, and why you shouldn't be amateur tarot reading people. Maybe you're like, oh, well, I can make $10 here and $10 there if I just read someone here, if I pull a card here, pull a card there. And let me tell you right now what actually goes on when you're reading people, when you're doing tarot. So you're not reading anyone. I'm telling you right now, you're not reading anyone. There's an entity or a being. It depends on what's around you doing the reading. So let's just start from the very basic level. So this video is not to tell you don't do tarot reading at all. If you're doing tarot readings on yourself, okay, that's fine. If you're doing it on your family, it's okay. You shouldn't be overextending yourself, because you'll be using entities at that point. If you do it on yourself, then the information you're getting is from your own angels, from your guides, and they want you to have the information, so they're gonna let you see it. Now, if you do it on your family, you really shouldn't, because you're gonna be swapping energies very heavily. So if you want to pull a reading, just say if it's your mom, then okay, fine. How's my mom's day gonna go? That's okay. Your guides will tell you like, okay, she should watch out for this, watch out for these people. If you're doing your whole family, you're gonna notice some of your guides are like, I don't really want to do their whole family. I don't really want to be reading this person, and you'll just have different entities volunteering for the reading, because you're forcing the reading, you're forcing the cards out. You have to know who your spirit guides are when you're doing tarot readings. You have to know who your angelic guides are. You have to know what entity is behind the reading. If major red flag, if you're just pulling tarot cards and you're reading someone else, who helped you get the answer? Who helped you get that answer? Do you think it was you? Do you think it was your intuition? But who is our intuition given to us by? Our higher self, yes, but we have guides to literally help us pull the exact card of whatever is getting read for the person, okay? So when you're doing, and I'm gonna actually use some, you guys told me stories of what happened to you. When you're doing tarot readings on someone else, and you're doing it for money, your guides don't, and you have to keep in mind, this should be left to the professionals. This should be, your life path should be something that you've been told by an initiated person of a tradition, like, hey, this is what you should be doing. You should be reading people. And after they tell you that, they'll put you on a whole plan. It depends on the tradition, but you should not freely be reading people. So if you're like, oh, a $45 reading, oh, $90 reading, you're pulling cards. At best, you're pulling cards. At worst, your guides just kind of like get really annoyed, and they're like, okay, fine, I'll just let someone else read, because I'm sick of using my energy to block this person from trying to read someone else. So that's why you'll get, when you start reading someone, or when someone starts reading you, you're gonna get a bunch of general, just really kind of off answers, and it's not gonna really apply. But then later on in the reading, when you start pulling more cards and you start digging and you start going past your guides, they let something else step in, and they'll be like, okay, yeah, fine. You don't get the memo. You're getting hot in the neck. You're getting headaches. You're starting to sweat like crazy, and you don't get it. Like, you're getting all these signs that it shouldn't. You get all these bad feelings in your stomach and all these bad feelings in your body, and you're just you're reading the person anyway. Like, you don't get it. So, and you're not going to get it because no one makes a video topic. No one even talks about this. So if you're an amateur, or if you're doing something to read people, you're doing it with entities. So if you've already been doing this for a while, you're using random entities. You don't know if the entities are good and random. You don't know if they're bad or random. You don't know if they're charlatans or etc. Like, your people in initiated traditions will use the entity, the being of light that is in the tradition to help read people, specifically for, just like, for example, if you would like an authentic reading, you can go to Eve the Medium. She's an authentic initiated. She's a very, very important spiritual figure in the community. She has her own YouTube channel. You can check her out, Eve the Medium. But the thing is, if you decide that you want to be a reader, or you feel like you made yourself a reader, no one told you to be a reader. Your intuition doesn't tell you. You'll be like, oh, I'm getting the feeling I should be a reader for life. Or just, you chose that. Your ego chose that. The inner you ignored the advice of your guide, so you're obviously not reading. And this is really going to hurt some feelings, but it's really going to help people. So you're using random entities to read people. So what happens after you invite these random entities in to read people? You get heavy attachments. So, and I can't make it in one video about why you shouldn't be reading people. It's hard to say everything in one video. But number one, if you're not heavy cleansing after every time you read a batch of people, or you read a certain person and you don't practice any cleansings, you don't have a guide telling you what to do. So, giant red flag number one, you don't know who's doing your readings. You think you do, you don't. You really don't. Unless you've gone to an initiated person, an actual medium, and they say, okay, this guide, let's just say, and even then, like, if it's your grandmother, they don't have that kind of energy to be reading everyone. That's not your grandmother's job in the afterlife. That's not what she does. She can help you with your family here and there. She can help you, but you're just using, and entities will lie. They'll just tell you anything. They'll be like, oh, I'm Aphrodite, or they'll just say like they're a Greek god or goddess or something like that. You do your research. Like, seriously, do your research. You're not that special as to you're just a random tarot reader doing a $45 an hour reading, and you're just you have the best guides, even though you just gave yourself you made contact with a sigil you found online. That's not how it works. Like, you guys really have to spiritually grow up if you want to not be drained all the time. And what happens when you don't listen to my advice? What happens to people who are just out here doing random tarot readers? No one told them that it's their life path. They're not in any initiated tradition. They're not in any kind of lineage of any kind of just anything. It could go back to Norse cultures. It can be in Greek cultures. It could be in Hispanic or Latin cultures, or just, it doesn't matter. As long as you're in a set culture where it's an established spiritual group, and you know that's your spiritual job and you're supposed to be reading people, then you shouldn't be freely reading people. Yes, my angels do tell me something here and there to help someone, but it's not full-fledged reading them. It's not full-fledged reading them. When you full-fledged reading someone, you're going into the energy field, you're going past barriers, and a lot of things that you guys, because some of you have already done this, maybe you've pulled cards on a friend, one thing you'll start to notice, and you fully pick up baggage. You fully pick up baggage when you're reading anyone. So if you're reading your mother, yeah, you pick up baggage, like, because you already live in the same house, but not as bad. If you read your whole family, you're gonna pick up problems from the people in the family. So let's just say you're reading a friend, and that friend has depression, they have anxiety, they have all these bad emotions, and the next day you're completely drained. Whether you know it or not, it's because you read your friend. You picked up entities on your friend. When you stare into the abyss stares straight back at you. So when you read that friend and you didn't do a deep spiritual cleansing given to you by a very higher up guides in an initiated tradition, then you don't know what you're doing. You flat out don't know what you're doing. So don't randomly read people. This video is going to save the people who it's meant to save. People who have already clicked off on this video, they don't belong here anyway. The whole life, if you're just reading people for money, that's a problem. That is a problem. That is flat out a problem. Entities are being used. Entities are being used at that point. You don't read people for money. You read it because it's in your life path, and you read it to other people to help people, and it's because you have been given that assignment. That has been given to you. If you even Eve the Medium does life path readings. Talk to Eve the Medium. Go under her YouTube channel, go under her website. That's an authentic medium. That's an authentic person who should be reading you. These psychics, these people who are reading you who are not supposed to be reading you, they're going to make you very fearful because they have entities around them that feed off of fear. Whenever you leave off on a reading with 95% of these psychics, you're going to leave off in fear. They'll be like, oh, there's all this stuff around you. A bunch of stuff is wrong. You're like, you're doomed. You are doomed. And then you leave the reading, and that's a giant red flag. If a person who is reading you leaves you very fearful and then tells you have to buy more stuff from them, like, oh yeah, you have to get more, like, oh, you need $10,000 worth of cleansings. They're like, oh yeah, you have to have a 4 more readings from me. That's a giant red flag. That person should not be reading you. They're using random entities, and the entities are just using them to get energy. Like, people are so deep into their ego, it's disgusting. People are going to watch this video and be like, I disagree with you. I think anyone could read anyone because it's in my intuition. Like, I'm spiritual. I'm spiritual. I've seen that on my TikTok. People like, I'm spiritual. I can do readings on people. I burn my sage. I cleanse my house with sage. I'm spiritual. And like, you're just dooming the people you're reading because you guys are heavily, it's the equivalent of spiritually sleeping with someone when you don't cleanse yourself at all. It's the spiritual equivalent because it is a sacred energy exchange in the fact that you're reading all this information about a person's aura. You're going into their chakras. You're going into their energy field. You're going into their spiritual quadrant. A lot of times your guides, even with someone who is legitimate, if your guides have already told you something and you already know who your guides are, then maybe they come to you in a dream, assuming it's not a charlatan, and the guides have said, okay, this is what you have to do. And you're going to 100 different psychics and you know what you have to do. Your guides are just staying quiet. They're not going to tell you because they're not going to tell you over and over and over and over and over again. You know what you have to do, so don't keep asking. Like, why would, the answer's not going to change, and if you want the answer to change, it's going to change because they're not going to answer, and it's going to be an entity answering it. Now, I have heard different stories and stuff like that, so the girl who watches this will be in the comments, or she might be in the comments. I'm not going to say her name because she said I could share that story, but basically, my friend knows someone who is doing tarot readings for a living. Someone told her some similar advice, like, hey, you shouldn't really be reading people. You're just using random spirits or random entities. And what happens is, yeah, you're using random entities. The cards are not you. Your gifts are not yours. They're given to you by the Most High God. The Most High God gives you your gifts, and he allows your spirit guides and angels to channel the gifts through you. If you really think your gifts are yours, they're not. They're not your gifts. If you want to test that out, well, just be like, these gifts aren't mine. Like, oh, I'm so powerful. Guess what will happen? All your gifts will disappear if you actually have the gifts, because most of you are making stuff up in your heads. It's really disturbing what a lot of the spiritual community has come to. It's a circus at this point. Like, you guys don't take spirituality serious. Just entities, dark entities are just running rampant and just randomly reading people. And yeah, dark entities love gossip. They love drama. So they're gonna be down to read people. Like, oh yeah, I heard Joanne, her husband sleeping with, and like you're getting all this juicy drama, and you think it's fun and games, and you think, ooh, I'm getting read out. Ooh, someone just told me something I didn't know about myself. If you want me to tell you something about, listen, if you're someone who hops tarot reader to tarot reader to tarot reader, if you're going through TikTok lives, YouTube lives, whatever, and you're just getting all these random cards pulled on you, I can tell you something about yourself. You're looking for attention. You're looking for energy, and it's not the right kind. It's not even the right kind of energy. It's not the right kind of attention. And when they read you, when your spirit guides don't, especially your gatekeeper, especially your main guide, it could be an angel, hopefully a spirit, hopefully not something that's bad, but if they don't permit you to being read and you go past them, you're going to feel drained, you're going to feel tired, you're going to feel sick all the time, you're going to think someone's cursing you because things get so bad. Your finances are going to be completely cut off, completely blocked. Your blessings don't come in. It's because you don't really identify what's going on, but this video is here to tell you it's really sickening as to what's going on because people don't get it. And people are going to watch this video and still not care and still not get it. This is to save the people who are actually worth saving. If you have so much ego to where you think that you're a master reader and like you can read whoever you want, you deserve what's the lesson that's going to come to you so you can learn that way, so you can teach other people yourself. This video is truly here to help people. My story about what happened with my friend and her tarot reader friend. So basically, yeah, she read and just random free reading random people, giant problem. It's like a doctor with bloody hands going patient to patient. You're spreading stuff and you're picking up everyone's darkness, blockages, everything that's on everyone. You shouldn't be reading everyone. You really should not. You shouldn't be. If you could read yourself, you could read one family member at the most. You shouldn't be reading people. You're going to pick up everything. and not even know it's gonna hit. You don't even know it hit you. And maybe some of you have already tried this in the past and you notice something goes wrong when you try to read people. But for example, this happened to my friend's friend. I'll finally get to the story, but like this is such an important video topic. I can't really talk about all in one video because there's so much information and depth to it, and this is gonna help the people who's going to help. I've already told the people who don't believe me that you're going to get your lesson. Now you've been warned. The karma of knowing something and doing it anyway, when it comes to you, it's just to teach you. It's not there to hurt you. Now that you guys know, my friend, her friend who did tarot readings on TikTok, people warned her, etc. And one day, her mother said to her, hey, there's someone pointing outside your window while you're doing the readings on TikTok. And she's like, no, that can't be. And she had a security camera. She checked the security camera, and there's an entity with giant horns pointing inside the window at the tarot deck. So that's just one example. So these things, why do they continue to help you do readings? One, they love it. It's energy. They have, and if you're in the spirit realm, let's just say, random name. Let's say Joe is in the spiritual realm, right? He has absolutely no attention in the spiritual realm. He died. He thought he was going up there, and he's just a bad person, and he's stuck down here, and he's just exactly right back where he left. So he's back on Earth, and he's getting no attention from anyone. No one can feel him. No one can see him. No one can do anything, right? Now, Joe is just a wandering spirit throughout the world. There's a lot of those. A lot. Because he wasn't a good person. He wasn't a godly person. He didn't want to go to heaven. He thought that he could have been just a bad person, right? So now he sees someone, because when you open a tarot card and you pull the cards, it could be a tarot card, it could be any kind of card. Oracle cards, you pull them on a surface. The surface should always be white. You should always have the surface clean. It should not be anywhere you eat. It should not be anywhere you sleep, because you'll create a massive portal. So basically, if everything's dark to Joe in the spiritual realm, he sees a light. It's like a little shining light, right? So the whole room is black. Put your hands over your eyes. It's like this. Everything's black. And now he sees this, a crack of light, and he goes up to the deck. He's like, oh, someone's doing readings. Oh, I know how to do readings. It's like the person's asking questions, and finally Joe can hear someone asking questions. It was so dark for him, no one's ever noticed him. And the person asking questions, they're like, is Stefan gonna get back with me? And you're like, Joe's like, oh, cool, I can answer now. Finally, this gives me some energy and light. And he's like, yeah, Stefan's gonna get back with her. Oh, and now Joe is like, oh, cool, I can do readings now. Like, I'm being noticed. And guess what? Joe is gonna stick around because he knows that Joe knows that you're doing readings for other people and you're doing them often. And Joe's sticking around because he is not noticed by anyone else, and you're the light to him. You open that portal, you open that connection to you and to everyone else, and now there's Joe times 1,000, so there's 1,000 random spirits. And if you think 1,000 spirits a lot, you have more to learn. But then things that are not spirits, things that were never human, fallen angels start playing into the role. Especially if you read a lot of people, fallen angels are always going to be doing the readings for you, and they're not good. They harvest energy, they make stuff up, they lie, they like gossip, they like drama. It makes them laugh to see you pitting people against other people. So maybe this woman was completely fine, her life was going fine. She had insecurity about herself. She went to her husband. She went to a tarot reader about her husband. Now her husband's not really cheating in actuality, but the tarot reader says her husband's cheating. She goes back to her husband, she breaks up, she's moving out. Little tiny thing told by a psychic or a tarot reader, it's now making a whole bunch of drama. That doesn't come from light. You shouldn't be doing the tarot reading in the first place. You don't even know if the information's accurate yourself. You think you do, you're doing it for 100,000 people, your readings are gonna sound the same. You're using a random entity. Your guides have already stepped back at that point. They're like, okay, we'll wait for this person to stop doing it. You're gonna feel hot, sweaty, you're gonna feel headaches, you're gonna feel completely drained. You can go to bed for 2 days and you won't have any energy when you wake up, and you're like, what's going on? It's because they're sapping your energy. You're just energy to them. Joe is using you for light because he's never gotten light in this life or in the afterlife until he met you, and now there's 1,000 spirits around you, just entities, random entities doing readings. Hopefully this video really opens the eyes of people who think it's okay to read other people. If you would like an actual reading, go to someone like Eve the Medium. Don't do it yourself. You're not find out if it's in your life path to be reading other people before you designate yourself on that path. Put your ego to the side. If you would like to spiritually grow, you're going to spiritually grow. When you do spiritually grow, you're going to see blessings, abundance, new people, new friends, just new opportunities. But when you decide to be a tarot reader for $45 an hour, everything is going to go into the tank, downhill. Your health will decline, your mental health will decline, your finances will decline. Everything will go wrong until you actually know, wait, this is because I'm just reading random people all the time and no one's ever taught this before. Well, I taught it now, and I really hope I do help you guys. If you have any questions, ask them in the comments. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. Ciao.